What do we have here? Live animals. Just a garden gnome here to let you know that if you're tuning into this video and expecting to see how to make a fish trap out of one of these, you need to check the description below and look for the chapter breaks, and you can jump to the part that you want to see. Otherwise, I've also been told to tell you to check greencountryagroforestry.com for special deals on seedlings, seeds, and other garden needs. Hey, that sounded pretty catchy. And also you'll find the link for our website down below. Thanks. All right, on to the video. Oh, pardon me, that's a bit loud, isn't it? Well, hello there, good people. Hi, it's Jason with Green Country Agroforestry, and today I've got a special treat for you. We have just received a box here. You notice it says live animals. Well, we've got a special new animal to add to our micro homestead setup. So let's have a look. First, a quick look at this. This is a sample of water with a bunch of lepta minor. It looks like there may be some azolla in it floating on the top. This is from our guppy production facility here, the black tub over to the side. And if you can look underneath it, let me get my fingers out of the way just so you can catch, so I can catch. I had to make sure there weren't any guppies or anything in this jar because I wanted to have a place to adjust the shrimp to. But underneath, you can see the roots hanging down into the water, this mat on the underside where fish that have the ability to eat plant material anyway can sit here and graze, and they can feast on the undersides of these plants to their heart's content. That multiplies every day, doubles every day under the right circumstances, and is great for pulling out toxins out of the water. It's great for oxygenating, and it's great for fish food. And I have some of it right there. And you may notice the water is a little bit yellowish to greenish, and that is because there is a certain amount of algae in that water column. We want to clean that up, which is why we have these little critters here. Pardon me. All right, so we just got these today. So we're going to open them up here. A little bit of set here. We've got in the foreground, a rather hardy ficus. This is a fig tree. We don't know specifically which subvariant of the genus ficus this is, but this is what we will probably wind up calling the prairie hardy fig. I have some outside right now experiencing our winter, and hopefully they will pull through on the other side and demonstrate that they're able to continue to grow despite prairie winter conditions, and if so, that's going to be a future product. Here we have a succulent aloe vera. I like to grow a little bit of that because occasionally I get burns, and this is a very useful treatment. Water chestnut growing in our guppy bucket over here. We'll show you that in more detail in just a minute. Alright, so this place is Flip Aquatics. I would hide it from you, but they're pretty obvious with their packaging here. Packaged by Amanda. She's proud of the job she did, so yay! Let's have a look and see what they sent to us. We've got 10 sherry shrimp. That's Neocaridina shrimp right there. They say small, 10 of them. Alright. Now I've got this water that we prepared ahead of time. It's the same water that's in the guppy tub, but I've been running an air stone in it just to make sure that we don't have a suffocation issue whenever we first introduce these shrimp. There should be enough oxygen provided by the lepta and also the algae, really, but we'll find out soon. All right, here. We've got, oh, they packaged a Swedish fish. Isn't that cute? All right. Here we go. We've got cherry shrimp, quality 10, written on the package. And guys, these guys look healthy. They look healthy. I think I might actually have too much water in this container, so I'm going to pour off some of the water here. Hopefully that wasn't too big of a shock for them. Alright, we've got shrimp. Oof, sorry. No focus on this camera, I swear. Alright, we got our shrimp in the bottom. They are moving around. I think they're alive. And I'm pretty sure that one is going to be a female. That one's a female, I'm pretty sure. So they have these little legs that they use for mobility to swim with, and then they've got some of them, they have additional more hook-like legs on the back that they use for holding their eggs. And each one's going to hatch out about 40 eggs, and they'll carry their eggs until they hatch out, and they like to hold on to the substrate like this mesh that's in here. They feast on detritus, that's dead stuff on the bottom, undigested food, old dead fish, other shrimp that might have died. They'll feed on algae, and so they are a part of completing the aquatic ecosystem that I'm making here. So let's put this down and have a look at that ecosystem over here. Good people. What you are witnessing here is an ecosystem which has survived without additional inputs other than topping off the supply of water in the tub since about September. It is planted with, as you can see here, water chestnuts and these vines that are emerging here, which are beginning to look a bit sickly and need to be propagated into another medium rather quickly. These are Murasaki sweet potato. All of this is helping to take care of the solid waste at the bottom of the ecosystem. The water itself has been inoculated with bacteria responsible for taking the fish waste and transforming it into a form that plants like this leptominer can use. Leptominer uses the nitrate to grow. Alright, so this is 4 months that this ecosystem has been operating without any real additional food supply other than what is provided by the leptominer. This is the small plant floating on the surface. Can you guys see okay? Do I need to move the camera? Alright, let's move the camera. Let me zoom in on this world. Hopefully you can see down in there. Those are guppies. For the past 4 months, this ecosystem has been surviving mostly on this plant growing on the surface of the water. Of course, this helps provide oxygen for the fish inside the system. You really can't see anything at all without this light, can you? Here we go. I can see it pretty good now. Nice, pretty colors. All right, but guppies, they require a slightly warmer environment. The water temperature here is about 73 degrees. All right, we're going to need to make some modifications to incorporate the shrimp into this. I've got these guppies here, and I'll probably get some other hardier fish for outdoor use as we progress. This is just sort of me learning how to work these ecosystems. They're not able to really get much of the algae out of the water, so if there's excess fertility in the water, then I can have algae blooms. That's dangerous because algae, although they photosynthesize and produce oxygen, whenever they go through the dark cycle of their respiration every day, they will need to consume oxygen, and sudden consumption of oxygen in the area where the fish are could be fatal to fish and other aquatic life. So limiting the amount of algae in your ecosystem is important. So this is where these guys come in. They're going to take that water from green to, I don't know, maybe a slight off yellow tea color. But this is the water that is in this system. Obviously, I can't put them in as they are, not because these shrimp will get consumed by the guppies, but because whenever they go to have their babies will immediately become prey. So I want to give the baby shrimp an area where they have at least a fighting chance of not being immediately consumed. If I can get them to survive through a generation or two, then I can remove the fence, so to speak, from around them, and the breeding population of shrimp will be sufficient that all they're doing is cleaning the tank of its algae and maybe providing our fish with a little additional fish food. What I've got here is 1/8 inch wire cloth, and as you can see, the mesh is pretty darn small. And we want to make sure that this goes from the bottom of the tub over here to above the water line at the very least. So, and we're going to try to not look like a complete and total idiot while cutting wire cloth with metal shears. The mesh doesn't exactly make perfect squares. They slant in different directions, and I'm going to have to just sort of hope I come close. All right, so now I've got a piece of wire mesh here. And what we want to do with it is make a hoop with the wire mesh. Just like so. All right, I got a piece of wire here. And we're just going to make a hook on one side of the piece of wire. Like that. You see the hook? See the hook? See the hook? Ah, hook. There's the hook. All righty, there's the hook. Okay. If you had to do this in a wild crafting situation, say you're just suddenly thrown into the Stone Age, right? You would be doing this by weaving reeds that you find on the side of the river, and chances are you would be making a little dugout where a little bit of water can flow and eddy and make a little sheltered area, and then you probably line that with those reeds, and you trap fish that way. I'm going to take the wire and run it through just that top hole there, and since I made the hook, that's going to go outside the hole like so. I am now ready to begin stitching. Be careful when handling wire. The pointy end is sharp. Puncture wounds are not fun. Alright, and we're just going to bring this other end to there. End to end. Simple. We're sewing. Guys, we're sewing. That's right. The manly art of sewing, people. And we're just going to we're going to go ahead and sew this hoop up with our wire. We'll just go back and forth from one side to the other. Really quick, I have now stitched right there, those ends together, making a hoop. I can put this down into the tub now, all the way down to the bottom, and this is going to provide some protection for our shrimp from the larger fish. Let's go install it. These in here. I've already made sure that all of our plants over here, all the big stuff has been pulled aside. There may be some roots down here I need to deal with, but most of that's pulled away. And I believe what I can do with this screen here is put the pointy end more towards the corner, like so, and that way I can make these outer bits sort of cling there. And of course we've got all this duckweed on the inside here. Let's move that out of the way. And I do have fish trapped down there. I can see quite a few fishies trapped in that area. Well, that's not what I want. So what do I do? What do I do? Well, I've got a plan. And if I do this properly, I can get all the fishies to move from there to maybe over here. How does that work? Well, hang on a second. Let's see. Can I zoom out? We want to have the fish that are over here. You see them moving around there. We want them to be over here so I don't have them all in my little corral here. All right, so let's lift the corral up. Let's see all that leptominer clinging to it. All right, move this over here. Now what I want to do is get the fish to come over to this area, and the trick to doing that is give them something that they like, but something I don't give them very often. So I actually do have fish flakes. I'm going to just dump a bunch of them over here, and with any luck, those fish that are over there are going to realize that there's feed over here in a minute. We'll give them a moment. We'll give them a moment to see if they catch on. Yeah. I got light shining down over here. There's feed over here. Hopefully they catch on. There's no feed over there, buddy. There's no feed over there. There's nothing. There's nothing here for you. Move, move, move. Move, 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 move. You don't want to be here. You don't want to be there. There's nothing there for you. Nothing there for you. The feed's over here. Food's over here. Nothing here for you. Alright. Now I'm going to try to get this down. Okay, there it is. Boom. Alright. And do I have any in there? I probably still have some. Yeah, I see a couple swimmers down in here, but not anywhere near as many as before. Okay, good. That makes the problem a little bit more manageable. What I'm going to do is come down inside. I'm going to grab these pumice stones. They're at the bottom. All right. I'm going to grab the pumice stones, and I'm just going to move them out here. I'm going to put them in a tray for the moment, so I just get the substrate, the bottom, cleared off. Then I'll be able to form this corral to the dimensions I want, put the stones back in. That'll block off the bottom so that everything stays stuck in here and the bigger stuff can't get in. And then I'll net the little critters out. So you see right here in the close, lots and lots of the fish right here, working all over the place, right there where we've got our fish food, our flakes that we put in here. I don't feed them flakes on a routine basis. If I want to move them around, I'll put the flakes down. That'll get them to migrate. As it is, I got a few right there that I need to deal with that are in the basket out there. At this point, this little tiny lagoon, protected by screen wire, only has the smallest of fish in it, which are not going to pose a threat to baby shrimp. All right, so I'll take these guys, and if they didn't get disturbed, I'll show you. Well, I can see a couple of them right there. All right, I'm going to lift this up. Now, if you look at the underside, of that, that plant mat. I'm trying to get under it so you can see. There's a couple of shrimp clinging right up there to the plant mat at the top. That's all lepta minor, and it looks like the shrimp are going to feed on it too. So they've got a wide variety of feed. They've got the detritus that comes to the bottom. They've got, you know, the stuff that isn't taken up by the roots of the water chestnuts and everything else. They've got the algae in the water column. Let's get in here close. And now we're going to go ahead and, wow. Oof. Is there any at the bottom left? Nope. All clear. No shrimp. They're all in there. And they're going to do their job, I hope, and clear the water. And I think I do have one more big fish in there, so I'm going to have to go see if I can get him out. One or two. So, all right, we're going to build a fish trap. Yes, a fish trap. And to do that, we're going to use a piece of what would otherwise be waste that I happen to have right here. This is a 1 liter plastic bottle. If you're doing this in the wild, you might weave some North American river cane, break it up and make little strips out of it to weave a basket with fine enough mesh to capture the size fish that you want, and then build a narrow throat going into that basket, and you would capture minnows and stuff like that. And if you wanted larger fish, you could capture larger fish that way. And that's the way you go about doing it. But since we have this resource and I don't need that large a fish trap, we're going to use this thing today. I've got a handy dandy little knife here that we will not cut ourselves with. So we will cut away from ourselves and get under this little plastic liner on the outside of the container.
Most people just have goldfish.
Right. And we can get goldfish. Now, this part is unfortunately plastic waste, and we're going to have to do something with it, unfortunately. Right? This is wrapper material, not really readily biodegradable. It'll break down with sunlight and time, but it will make, if you're concerned about these things, microplastics.
Sunlight and time fixes everything.
Yeah, but they're also not very recyclable in and of themselves. So
I think you have to pay money to recycle plastics.
I'm saying these little label things here. I mean, I know they're a convenience for the manufacturer operating their product. They need to put a label on stuff and stuff like that, but I don't really like it that much. I can't find a really suitable immediate recyclable use for it. Maybe, possibly, if you have the ability to take a plastic product like that and make them part of an extrusion to make your own plastic products, that might work. All right, now we've got our bottle, and it has been used quite frequently to make a drink mix. So I get bulk drink mix in a cardboard container that, you know, mostly is biodegradable except for a little bit of tin at the top. And oh, I left a little piece of plastic on the bottom here. All right, and I'll mix up drink mix for a long time in a plastic bottle like this, and I'll just keep on using the bottle over and over and over again because it's got the lid on there. And you can put the drink mix in there in the water and just shake it up, and hey, lo and behold, you've made a beverage that does not taste just like ordinary water. I learned this trick whenever I was a young child living on the prairies of Oklahoma with a well that had an enormously sulfurous odor to it. Here you go. So to disguise the sulfurous odor of the water that we were obliged to drink on a daily basis, we had to mix in things like Kool-Aid or Tang or whatever we could get our hands on to kind of mask that odor. All right, now we're ready to wash a bottle. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, so plastic cap and the little safety device at the bottom. I understand the reason for the safety device. You want to make sure your product isn't tampered with. Your customer wants to make sure that the product they buy from you isn't tampered with. It's got a purpose, okay, but we don't need it for this. So this is also potentially a recyclable product if you can recycle plastic. Now, we've got a bottle, and we're going to cut it right here.
You want a snipper?
Well, thanks to the miracle of internet. Wow, okay, here we go. Now, I've taken the trouble of drilling a hole back here, right there, so whenever this goes down to the bottom, any air bubbles will come out through there. All right, so it will not float. We'll be able to just sit down there at the bottom. And I'm going to attach a little bit of twine to this clip. And whenever the trap is occupied, we just remove the clips and then remove the throat of the trap here, which is a bit larger than I think would be a good size. So we're going to try with a water bottle. If we can find a water bottle, we'll use a water bottle. And then you can just empty out the cup that has fish or what have you in it. Of course, you'll have to cover that little hole so that your water doesn't all come out whenever you're going to empty out the cup. But this will allow you to capture those larger fish that are inside the breeding area for the shrimp. All right, so here we go. Just going to put that.
Well, shrimp are, I mean, guppies aren't very smart, so I'll probably
Put that thread in there. Now I want to make sure that at least one of the clips lines up with that hole so that whenever it's sitting straight up and down like I want it to, with the twine in it, that hole will be straight up. All right, now I just use the other clip down here just to sort of anchor off the other side. There we go.
nothing ever works the way you want it to.
No plan survives the first contact with the enemy, I think is the old adage. We'll see how this works. Guess what, guys? I am making this up as I go along, so we're on an adventure here.
You'll see. To the blind man, to his deaf dog, walking the crooked lane.
So, got my string.
So why do you need string again? Oh, so you can pull it back up, maybe?
Correct.
You can just tie it around the bottle. Just tie it around the bottle.
I guess I could tie it around the bottom. No, I want it to come up like that.
Oh, good point. Good point. Okay, so come up right side up.
So it'll come right inside. Yeah, so it comes right side up. Anyway, I got my string. So there's my string. Alright. I can just go and tie a knot here. Alright. Now, this goes in tank.
Let's see how this works.
I can tell you, there are little tiny guppies in abundance just floating around right there at the surface. I've got our all wonderful goldfish food, which I'm just going to go ahead, pardon me, and I'm going to put just a tiny little touch of that into our trap. Just a touch of it. So just very, very carefully. There we go. Just a couple flakes go in, right? Now I know from experience that the guppies really, really like that goldfish food. Okay? So, here we go. We're going to go ahead. Right, so we're going to go ahead and submerge this thing. And I don't want too much of that duckweed going into it. I mean, if you get some, it's okay, but I don't want to capture too much of it. There we go. Alright. And now that that's full, there we go. We can let it settle to the bottom. We want that glue to be right side up with that little tiny hole where it is. I'm going to move this out so that the mouth opens up into the rest of that container. And if we give that a little bit of time, hopefully the little guppies will feel inclined to go down into it and see if they can get some of that food. We'll find out if this trap works, and that will allow us to sort of manage what's going on down there in our shrimp breeding area. Did we manage to capture any of the larger fish in our fish trap? And I can see another big one right below the surface there. So real quick, I'm going to move this light over to the side. There we go. And hopefully we can still see okay. Alright. So we're going to pick up this string here. Alright. And that means I can pick up this entire trap. Of course, we want to move so that our water doesn't come out of here. And we do have guppies in our trap. I don't think I have any shrimp, but we're going to go ahead and... Oh, I got to adjust my camera here. Here we go.
Adjust your camera.
Got to adjust the camera. There we go. Take those clips off. Set them to the side. And I've got...
What's that? Oh.
Yeah, there we go.
Looks like a piece of charcoal. Oh, I see him. Oh, that's
See
a
him?
goldfish.
Yeah, it looks like a goldfish. That's a guppy, though.
Mm-hmm.
That is, in fact, a guppy. And there's another one in there. There's a couple of them in there. And there's a little baby in there. All right, so we got a couple more. That's good. We'll go ahead and get you guys released out there on the outside. All right.
Use a fish net to do that.
Well, they're very net averse. So whenever I try to get down in there with a net, they manage to dodge out of the way pretty effectively. And besides, we have a whole bunch of little bitty babies that can go through this screen really easily. Mm-hmm. And there's another large one right there. All right. Oh, he's darting out of the way. All right. We're going to reset our trap here.
Oh, it's pointing back down so they can see.
We're going to move this back. We're going to reset the trap.
So your audience can see what you're
Yeah, because we do still have at least one more big one in there for the moment. And I guess what I need to do is check this.
Now we're looking at the floor.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead and bring it up so it's meet me lovelies. All right. So I guess what we really need to do here is start checking our traps on a more regular basis. This was about 8 hours from the time I set it to the time I checked it, and at least one of the fish had died in the trap because it just wasn't able to move around, and there's not as much breathable air inside of the trap as there would be circulating outside, I guess. But in any case, we're going to reset the trap,
Or
put a little bit more stuff in here, and
like this. Oh,
like this,
fish,
yeah.
Fish.
This is the only time I use fish food, is to bait the trap to try to catch the fish. We'll just put a couple flakes in there, and that'll attract the fish. If I leave it in long enough, it should attract the shrimp too, for that matter. Put that in there. And now,
Shrimp
this is
usually
very
stay
simple.
down low, right?
All right, can you see what we're doing here? We're going to take the trap throat. We're going to put it in the cup. Of course, this cup has a hole tapped right here. If you guys see that right there, the hole tapped right there. This allows any of the bubbles to escape when we put it in. So we make sure that the clip that goes to our string is on that side. And then I can apply another clip here. And I think I had another clip around here somewhere that I could be putting on. I could figure out where I put it. I'm just pushing my glasses.
Hold that thought. We'll be right back.
Hold that thought. We'll put. I had another one around here somewhere that was going to. Oh, there it is. I found it. Found it. Here it is. Ah, here it is. Okay. So hold that thought. I've got it right here. All right. So now I can have this set up like this, and this is kind of neat. Whenever this goes down to the bottom, we've got 2 feet here holding it in place, right? And then a string that allows me to pull the entire trap up. It comes up this way, and now it is not likely the fish are going to swim back out this way to escape, and whatever's trapped in there is trapped in there. Okay.
But you want to check it every few minutes?
I'm thinking I should probably be checking it more often. So before I go to bed tonight, we'll check it, we'll clear it, and we won't put it out until tomorrow, because I'll be sleeping, and I don't want to be asleep and have fishies die. Yeah, fishies die unnecessarily. Right, so here we go. Once again, can you see it? Or can you move the camera forward? Or do you want to move the camera forward? Actually, come in over this shoulder where we have some light. Alright, can you see it now?
See your fishnet.
Alright, so in we go. We're just going to fill this up.
Okay.
Alright. And the clips hold it in place. Little clips hold it in place, and I can just remove the trap throat whenever I need to. We're just going to lay it down just like so. Ta-da! The 2 little clips on the bottom act like little feet that it sits on, and then that one makes sure that whenever we go to clear the trap, it sits straight up. And then whatever's inside there is now well and truly cut. I'll just go ahead and put this down here on the bottom. And we will come back sometime before we go to bed tonight. We'll clear that. And I expect at some point this charcoal is going to wind up sinking once it's fully charged. That also means whenever I do go to change out the tub, I'll have fully charged charcoal that contains all the little biological organisms required to maintain a healthy aquatic ecosystem in it, contained in that charcoal, so they can be used to inoculate another system. Well, good people, that's all I've got for you today. As always, I hope you found the video informative or entertaining, and if you did, well, you know what to do. I'll catch you next time, but until then, get out there and get growing.
Your eyebrows make you look old.
What? I don't look old.
Oh, sorry, I was talking to the dog.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Well, hello there, good people. Hi, it's Jason with Green Country Agroforestry here, and today I've got a little bit of maintenance to do over here in my. Hang on a second, let me get it over here so you can see it. In our little aquatic system, we added our shrimp here just a couple of days ago. But whenever I look inside over here, let me move the camera so you can see what I'm talking about.